Welcome to the deep dive. You're here because, well, you want to cut through all the noise, the endless info, and get straight to what actually works.
Right. Exactly. No wading through fluff.
Today, we're tackling happiness. But not in some vague philosophical way. We're talking practical, everyday stuff you can actually do.
Things you can weave into your life, like starting now.
We've looked at a whole bunch of ideas on this, and it's fascinating, really. So many different angles, how we think, our connections, even just basic self-care.
That's right. And it can feel overwhelming, all these different strategies. So, our goal here is pretty simple. Make it clear, make it actionable.
We want to pull out the most impactful stuff from what we've seen. Yeah. Give you real examples so it's not just abstract theory.
Yeah, see how it might actually fit into your day. Practical steps towards, a little more joy.
Okay, let's dive right in. Mindset. Seems like a good place to start because so much flows from, well, how we frame things internally. One of the simplest but maybe most powerful ideas, gratitude. The sources suggest making a real effort each morning. Jotting down 3 things you're grateful for seems almost too easy.
It does, but what's interesting is why it works. It's about intentionally directing your focus.
How so?
Well, our brains kind of naturally scan for problems, right? Negativity bias. This practice just gently nudges your attention elsewhere, towards the good stuff.
Like training a muscle.
Exactly. The more you look for the good, the easier it becomes to spot it. So someone might write down, I'm grateful for my health, my supportive friend, and that awesome dinner I had last night. Simple stuff.
It's small, but doing it consistently.
Yeah, it can genuinely start to shift your whole perspective, recalibrate things.
Makes sense. Training your eye for the silver linings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, building on that focus idea. Living in the moment. That's another big one.
Uh-huh.
In our world, with phones buzzing constantly, that feels like a real challenge.
For sure.
One example that jumped out was mindful eating. Like actually putting your phone away during coffee, just tasting it, smelling it. What's the payoff for being that present?
Well, think about how much mental energy we spend worrying about the future or, replaying the past.
Right. All that mental chatter.
Exactly. So consciously engaging with right now, the taste of coffee, a chat with a friend, it actually gives your mind a break from that chatter. It reduces distractions.
You actually experience what's happening.
Yeah, and that can lead to deeper appreciation, calm even. Some research links this kind of mindfulness directly to lower stress.
Interesting. Like a mini vacation for your brain. Okay, but what about when things aren't so great? The sources also talk about positive thinking, or maybe reframing is a better word.
Yeah, reframing is probably more accurate.
There was a good example. Not getting a job, but seeing it as time to upskill for something better. How do you actually make that mental switch when you're feeling disappointed?
That touches on resilience, doesn't it? It's not about pretending you're not upset. Those feelings are valid.
Okay.
But it is about actively looking for a different angle. When you hit a setback, instead of just looping on the negative, you ask, okay, what can I learn here? Or what doors might this open?
So the job loss example. Didn't get the job, but hey, now I can focus on improving my skills.
Exactly. It's not instant cheerfulness, but it's finding a constructive way forward. It empowers you.
Right, finding that crack of light. Okay, another tough one, comparison, especially with social media highlight reels everywhere.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one.
The advice is pretty direct. Limit your time or just unfollow accounts that make you feel, well, inadequate.
Yeah.
Focus on your own self-improvement instead. Easier said than done.
Absolutely. Those comparisons happen almost automatically.
Yeah.
But the key is recognizing that online stuff, it's usually super curated, not the full picture.
Yeah, the highlights.
So by consciously limiting that exposure and turning that energy inward towards your goals, your progress, you're basically protecting your self-esteem.
Shifting from external validation
to an internal one. Ask yourself, am I making progress compared to me yesterday? That's way more meaningful.
That's a really helpful frame. Okay, last one on mindset. Embracing change. Life throws curveballs, right?
Recently.
The suggestion is trying to find the lessons. The example of moving to a new city instead of feeling lost, choosing to explore, meet people. How do we train ourselves to see change as opportunity, not just threat?
It speaks to our adaptability, really. Change is unsettling, but fighting it often causes more pain than the change itself. So consciously looking for growth, for learning, it builds resilience. It's about your attitude choosing curiosity over fear. that exploring the new city example, it shows how actively engaging with change can lead to unexpected good things.
Okay, so that covers some really solid ways to adjust our internal landscape. Now let's pivot. Let's talk about the external world relationships.
For sure.
The sources really stress the power of positive connections. The example was joining a book club, somewhere people are, uplifting. Why are these supportive relationships so vital?
It boils down to belonging, mutual support. We're social creatures, right? Our connections massively impact our well-being.
Like a buffer.
Exactly. A buffer against stress, encouragement when things are tough, and someone to share the joys with. Being around inspiring people, like in that book club, creates this positive feedback loop for your own happiness.
And it's not just about receiving that energy, is it? Giving it out seems just as key.
Absolutely.
The next point is helping others. Even small things. The example, helping an elderly neighbor with groceries, both people end up smiling. What's that link between helping and our own happiness?
It's this really interesting reciprocal thing. When we focus on someone else's well-being, it often shifts focus off our own worries.
Give you purpose.
Yeah, purpose and meaning. That simple act of kindness creates positive emotions for everyone involved. It boosts your sense of connection, your self-worth.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Okay, staying with connections.
Yeah.
Forgiveness, often really hard. The example, forgiving a friend who hurt you. Instead of clinging to resentment, it resonates, but it's tough. What's the actual benefit of letting go?
Well, the sources suggest forgiveness isn't really about saying what they did was okay. It's more about freeing yourself.
Freeing yourself.
Yeah, from the grip of those negative feelings, holding on to anger, resentment. It's draining, mentally, even physically. By choosing to forgive, like with the friend, you're cutting that cord, making space for better stuff. It's a gift to you.
That's a powerful perspective. Then there's open communication. Seems like the foundation for any good relationship.
Definitely.
The example was resolving an issue with a friend by actually talking about your feelings constructively, not just ignoring it. Why is that directness so crucial?
Because misunderstandings, conflicts, they happen, right?
Right.
But if you avoid talking honestly, small things fester. They grow into big resentments. Expressing feelings calmly, respectfully, like in the example, opens the door for understanding, for fixing things. It strengthens the relationship, stops negativity building up.
All right. Prevents things from spiraling. Okay, last one in this relationship zone. Just spending time with loved ones. Simple, but vital.
So important.
The example of a weekly call with parents just catching up, sharing laughs. Why do we let these connections slide sometimes, and why push to prioritize them?
Life just gets busy, doesn't it? Daily demands take over. But those regular interactions, there are anchors. They give us belonging, support, joy.
So making a conscious effort.
Yeah, even just that weekly call, it reinforces those bonds. Hugely important for our overall happiness and feeling secure.
Okay, nurturing relationships, definitely key. Now let's shift focus inward. Self-care, well-being.
Yes, looking after number one.
The sources highlight several practical things here, starting with regular exercise. Even a short walk daily is mentioned as a mood booster. Example, a 20-minute morning walk to feel refreshed. What's the science there? Movement and mood.
Oh, the link is super strong. Exercise releases endorphins, natural mood elevators. Plus, it improves sleep, cuts stress hormones, boosts energy. That 20-minute walk, it can genuinely make a big difference to your whole day. Find something you enjoy, make it regular.
Consistency again. Okay, next, healthy eating. Example, swapping junk snacks for fruit and feeling more energetic. Seems obvious, but can you elaborate on that connection?
Well, food is literally fuel for body and brain. When we consistently choose nutrient-rich stuff over, processed sugar bombs, we get more stable energy, better mood, better health overall. That simple fruit swap, it leads to noticeable improvements physically and mentally. Big impact on well-being.
Makes sense. Fueling yourself around. Sleep is another big one.
Huge.
The sources stress a bedtime routine. Example, ditching screens an hour before bed, reading instead. We all kind of know we should do this, but what's the real impact of sleep on happiness?
Good quality sleep is absolutely critical. It's when our body and mind restore themselves. Lack of sleep messes with mood, thinking, even physical health.
Yeah, I feel that when I don't sleep well.
Right. So a relaxing routine, no screens, maybe reading signals your body, time to wind down. It leads to deeper sleep, which means better mood, better everything the next day.
Okay, need to work on that screen time. Next strategy, taking breaks, preventing burnout.
So important, especially now.
Example, a short stretch break every 90 minutes of work. So simple, but probably easy to forget. Why are these little pauses so vital?
They're crucial for focus.
Yeah.
And preventing mental fatigue. If you just power through nonstop, concentration drops, stress builds, even just 5 minutes stretching, like the example, lets you reset. Clear your head, you come back fresher, more focused. It's about working smarter, more sustainably.
Right, not just harder. Okay, finally in self-care.
Hobbies.
Fun. Example, playing guitar for 30 minutes in the evening to relax. Dedicating time just for enjoyment. What's the role of hobbies in happiness?
They're an essential outlet for creativity, relaxation, just plain fun. They let you disconnect from daily stress, engage in something you choose because it brings you joy or accomplishment. Playing guitar, gardening, painting, whatever. It balances out the demanding stuff. Big boost to well-being.
Makes sense. Need more guitar time. Okay, final set of strategies. Emotional and spiritual health.
Getting a bit deeper now.
Starts with meditation and reflection. Example, beginning the day with a deep breathing to clear the mind. Even a few minutes of quiet seems impactful. What's the value here?
That daily pause, meditation, mindfulness, just quiet thought, it lets you check in. Notice your thoughts, emotions, manage stress, cultivate inner calm. Deep breathing, like the example. Simple, powerful tool. Centers you, helps start the day more peacefully.
Okay. Next, self-acceptance, recognizing your strengths.
Yes, being kind to yourself.
The example, making a list of your achievements to boost confidence. Giving yourself credit. Why is that self-acknowledgement so important?
It's fundamental, really. When we see our strengths and accept our imperfections, it builds a healthier self-image, less self-criticism. That achievement list, it's a concrete reminder of what you can do. Builds self-worth, which is a huge part of feeling happy.
Right, counteracting that inner critic.
Yeah.
And then, laughter.
Gotta have laughter.
The sources suggest making it regular, even watching comedy before bed. What are the actual benefits of a good laugh?
It really is strong medicine. Laughter lowers stress hormones, releases those feel-good endorphins. It can even shift how you see problems. So consciously finding humor, funny movies, time with funny friends, it genuinely lifts your emotional state.
Can't argue with that. Next, detaching from negativity. Limiting bad news, toxic interactions.
Creating boundaries.
Example, stopping engagement in office gossip and feeling lighter. That hits home. How does limiting negativity help happiness?
What we consume, information, social interactions, massively affects us. Constant negativity, whether news or gossip, is draining. By consciously limiting it, like avoiding the gossip, you protect your mental space. You make room for more positive stuff. Leads to more peace, more happiness.
Filtering the input makes sense. Okay, our final point, having a sense of purpose.
The why.
Example, volunteering at a shelter once a month to feel fulfilled. How does connecting to something bigger than just us help our individual happiness?
Purpose gives life meaning, direction, whether it's work, relationships, community contribution. It connects you to something beyond just your own day-to-day needs. It fosters fulfillment. Doing things aligned with your values, like volunteering, gives this profound sense of contribution, really enhances well-being.
Wow, okay, so wrapping this all up, happiness isn't some single destination we arrive at.
Definitely not.
It's more like a collection of small, consistent choices we make every single day. Across all these areas, how we think, connect, take care of ourselves.
Exactly. And this deep dive gave us a whole toolkit of practical strategies. And the real-world examples, hopefully, make them feel less abstract, more doable, easier to see how you might actually use them.
So thinking about everything we've covered, from mindset shifts to relationships to self-care, maybe the question for everyone listening is, what one or two small changes could you experiment with, starting today, to just cultivate a little more happiness?
Yeah, which specific idea really resonated? And maybe spend a second thinking why that one stood out.
Right, because understanding why something clicks for you, that's often the best starting point for your own journey toward feeling a bit happier.